Week 4 of the Post Esports Masters League of Legends competition. Once again, Frashtana, you're back with me to cast tonight's League of Legends games. What a pleasure to have you here on board.
Yeah, thank you. I will continue that. I mean, it's just 2 more match days, right? At least for the regular season. So just one day today, and then of course Thursday is our last normal match day, you could say. And after that, we will know who will be the finalists and the 2 semi-finalists. So really interesting, and I think that especially today is a pretty important day because we see one team twice, and this team definitely wants to make playoffs, so they need to perform today.
Yeah, definitely. It's all or nothing now this week, since it is the 4th week and the final week of the regular season, as you said, for the finals. And maybe before we get to the gist of tonight, maybe we can take a quick look at what happened during week 3 of the Post Esports Masters with a short recap video, and we'll see you very soon and get into tonight's menu.
Hey Moyenne, on entre dans la dernière semaine de saison régulière League of Legends. Je vous résume ça tout de suite. Royal Family et Vase, les 2 leaders, ont de nouveau croisé le fer, et pour la 2e fois consécutive, c'est Royal Family qui l'emporte. Ils affichent désormais un bilan de 7-0. S'ils remportent leur match de cette semaine face à Hitmoney et Snooze, ils rejoindront les finales sans avoir perdu un seul match en 2024. Et ça, c'est fort. D'ailleurs, en parlant de Snooze, ils ont remporté le match à ne pas perdre face à STBL. Et oui, les 2 formations sont en lutte pour la 3e place synonyme de finale, et désormais Snooze a 2 victoires d'avance sur STBL. On change de jeu un court instant, car ce week-end avaient lieu les Qualifiers Valorant. Nous avons donc le nom des 12 équipes qualifiées pour le championnat, 6 en Division 1 et 6 en Division 2. Début des hostilités le 19 mars en direct sur Twitch, mes amis. Pour conclure, retour sur League of Legends avec nos 3 nominés pour le titre de joueur de la semaine. J'ai nommé Thunder Yordle de Vase, Xdenjo de STBL et GGS de Snooze. Rendez-vous demain sur Twitch pour découvrir le nom du Player of the Week.
You've heard it from the man himself. Week 3 was quite interesting, and it is, well, building up to the finals of this League of Legends split. And we have, once again, 3 MVP nominees. Let us know in the chat what you think of those 3 players with their great performances over the past week, and whom of those 3 you would nominate MVP. We will, of course, let you know what our decision was by the end of the stream. Now, what's going on here in this 4th week? Quite a lot. You've mentioned it, Frashtana. Week for the end of the season means that we'll know who goes first off towards final, but we also know who will be fighting off for relegation against Division 2 teams. And maybe in order for you to visualize this all a bit better, we can take a look at the format explanation video, which you've already seen at the start of the season, but have it as a little refresher for what's about to happen over the course of the next weeks here in the League of Legends part of the Post Esports Masters. Greetings and welcome all to the Post Esports Masters Season 5. Spring comes in early this year as the competition prepares for quite a few changes. We're excited to dive into this season with our new lineup of games as we're traveling new tracks and bring back old gold. This year, teams are in the limelight of the Post Esports Masters, with League of Legends and Rocket League coming back from a more or less distant past, and with our newest addition, Valorant. For each game, everything starts with their qualifiers played in a Swiss tournament system, resulting in 12 teams for League of Legends and Valorant and 16 teams for Rocket League to lock in their spot for the regular season. This year, the competition will house more teams than ever before, and to accommodate that, we've decided to introduce 2 divisions. In each division, teams will face off in a double round-robin format over the course of 4 weeks, with set game days on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the first division. There, Only the top teams will be paving their way towards playoffs and get a shot at the big finale later in the year, while the lower teams will tread shakier grounds as they will face the top 2 teams of the second division to defend their spot for the next season of the Post Esports Masters. All these teams will of course be competing to get their fair share of a total prize pool of 20,000 euros. So sign up now on postesportsmasters.lu. Yes. So, if you were still unsure about what's gonna happen, I think now it should be more than clear what is going to happen. And, well, it's gonna be decided today and in 2 days on Thursday this week whom of the first division will be going towards finals and who will be going to play relegation against Division 2 teams. And maybe we can take a look at the leaderboards of those 2 divisions, starting off with the first division. And yeah, there you have it, still unbeaten Royal Family, going strong, 7-0. Nothing seems to be able to shake them off their pedestal. Right behind them we have Vase Esports also going quite strong, being 6-2, having only lost against Royal Family if I recall correctly. And then Snooze Esports going 4-3. And Frestana, maybe you can present to us the 3 bottom teams of this ladder.
Of course, it's Stabil, Red Lion and Hitmonlee, both Red Lion and Hitmonlee just with 1 win so far. Red Lion, of course, with the big upset against Snooze, and Hitmonlee with their win against Red Lion. So both of them maybe will play relegation, but of course they still have some chances to get some more important victories now to maybe get out of there. Let's see if they can snag 1 or 2 wins to at least tie with Stabil. That would be, at least for them, really important. And of course, we still have the standings from Division 2. So let's check them out because they will contest the Division 2-1 bottom tier teams, starting with the Rift Riders. I want to say finally, because they finally lost 1 game. I think they just pretty much stomped through the whole division, and now they have one loss. It's not like I don't like them, but it's just funny to see that they kind of shake there a little bit. Then of course Epic Scattered Bros on the 2nd place together with Relion, which I really like to see, but also Onion des Hombres Esports, of course, also on the on place 2. And there you can see that all of those teams actually compete for the relegation, but Epic Scattered Bros with 4 losses kind of need some wins now. So it's still a race for the 2nd place, so it's really interesting to see it. And if you want to watch those games, we don't broadcast them, but Nocturnal Esports actually does it. So if you want to check those games out, then just tune in to Nocturnal Esports, of course.
Yeah, definitely do. It's worth a watch. They've been doing a wonderful job of broadcasting those games of 2nd division, and it's always interesting to see what is going on over there as well, because some of these teams will be competing against Div 1 teams very soon, so that's always interesting to know. Now, we know more or less who's on shakier grounds, who's not. We have 2 teams for first division who seem to be rather safely in the finals, but for this middle of the pack between Snooze and Stabil, most importantly, things might still, you know, be shaken up. It's not all set in stone, and maybe we can take a look at today's schedule in order to see what scores might be settled today. And we do have Snooze Esports going up against the top 2 teams of the leaderboards, which was definitely is a challenge that you have to take up on, and they would better get those wins if they want to close the gap, or rather further the gap between them and Stabil for the 3rd spot in Division 1.
Yeah, and after that, of course, Red Lion against Hitmonlee and Red Lion against Stabil. And may I say that, but that could be the most important match week ever, because first of all, Snooze has 2 games and they want to challenge Vase, of course, and they want to be safe in the playoffs, because you know, if they lose both games now, then maybe Stabil still has a chance to unthrone them, you could say. And then also, Red Lion will play 2 games today, so even for relegation, it's maybe their most important day of this whole season. Just because if they win 2 games now, they might dodge relegation. So it's really, really important to see those 2 teams now. And also, and I think that's pretty cool, we have kind of like maybe those final matchups with Snooze against Race could be the semifinals, Snooze against Roy Fam could be the finals later on. So we might see a glimpse of that right now, and I think that's really a cool match there actually.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting as you said it, because, well, lots of things riding on it. Of course, what could also still happen is a tie between Snooze and Stabil. You might be wondering what happens in case of a tie, be it 2-way or 3-way tie, although that seems to not be the case here in First Division. But in case of a tie, we'll be looking at the head-to-head between teams, meaning which team won most matches. If a team won twice in the head-to-head, they win the tie. If it is equal within the head-to-head, well, by elimination we have to look at other metrics, namely the shortest game of the 2, who had the cleanest win, so to say, in terms of a League of Legends game, you could say. Now, Roshtana, are you ready for Game 1 of tonight?
I'm always ready. I'm hyped.
Always ready. Hyped for Game 1 of tonight, dear spectators. Snooze Esports versus Royal Family, current leader of the leaderboards. And maybe we can get a champ select for once in one of our streams.
Yeah. I mean, all of you might remember that we kind of didn't have a single champ select because of the spectate bug. And now... no, we have one. You can say that at least. And yeah, that's really cool because it's kind of the first champ select we actually now cast together, and it's really cool. And we actually see a really good ban, in my opinion, against Shunrim. Oh no, it was just an hover. They are dirty. It's a virus. I wanted to see this fresh ban against Shunrim, but I mean,
it seemed like
why
it's
not?
coming yet. Yeah, I mean, we are now week 4. I've said that like 10 times. I'm starting to feel silly about mentioning the fact that we're week 4. But teams, now they start to know each other, right? They've played against each other at least once. And they've, hopefully for them, for their sake of getting better, watched other teams play against other teams. And they start to know, okay, these champions super dangerous. For example, here we have the Draven ban against Dan, and overall quite a few measures already against Dan, who's a phenomenal AD carry all in all. And so you start putting out those bans that are really dangerous and picking against what is good as well.
Yeah, and I really like the Aatrox ban against JJS. I really enjoyed this Brown ban. He was kind of like the MVP in their victory against Vase on the Sprawl. So actually, you know, it's a ban from Royal Fam's side. But anyway, Braum was really important. So just banning it out makes sense. Lucian and Krogers also get out of there. So a really interesting draft so far. Fresh first pick actually from Snooze. So they kind of pick away Shunrim's fresh and secured for themselves. But I think Yato is also a great fresh player, so why not?
Yeah, and taking it away from the Thresh player of the league is also always worth its money, right?
Yeah, of course. And there's a classic counter pick, so to say, with the Morgana, the Black Shield, of course, really strong against this hook. And but there are some mind games, because if a Thresh runs at you, you never know if he hooks you or the ADC, so the Black Shield should never drop too fast and rather reactive than not reactive. So it's really an important skill matchup, but something that Thresh usually cannot really play around, because he just needs to hook, and then if there's a Black Shield, he kind of lost it. But if there's none, then he can of course still hook Jinx, and Jinx of course big hyper carry. And it's kind of funny to see, because we saw plenty of those Draven picks by then and more of those aggressive bot lanes, and now Royal Fam kind of decides for those late game scaling option with the Jinx, which is really awesome actually to see. And there's actually a Yasuo for Rakuzi, and whatever the third pick is. But it could be for Rakuzi, could also be a flex pick, of course. But we saw it one time at least, and Rakuzi's Yasuo just clapped. So I would really like to see it actually.
Yes. For those of you wondering what is going on, is this possible? We are using the how's it called? The drafting tool to recreate the champ select, because we are still using the replays rather than spectators, since it's, as far as I know, been just getting worse over the course of the weeks. I don't know what Riot is doing, but they're doing something, I guess. So this is why there was an empty pick, and I think we will redo the champ select in order to fix mistakes. But for now, everything was correct, looking really good. Looking really interesting, and I really liked you mentioned it. A Dan on a champ like Jinx would be super interesting to say. I have to agree, absolutely.
Definitely. And like the funny thing about the spectate bug, actually, they disabled spectate mode yesterday. I was scrimming with my team, and I couldn't create a lobby with spectate on. So I mean, instead of fixing the spectate bug, they just decide to just don't allow spectate anymore. it's kind of funny too. I mean, it's a workaround, but not a workaround I wanted to see. In the end, it's fine. I mean, everybody does mistakes, and Riot will fix it, but probably not this season.
Probably not this season, or maybe when we don't need it anymore here at the PostTV Esports Masters. But it is what it is, as you said.
Yeah.
All right.
You wanted to say something? I'm sorry.
You know, I was just saying, it is what it is in the end. People do make mistakes, it does happen. But we will still always try to find a workaround in order to get the games over to you, dear spectators. And now we also have the champ select. A first picking round that is done. We have a Gragas following up on sides of Snooze Esports, which works really well. That Yasuo is going to be happy. I mean, there's quite a few options for him already. It synergizes well with him. Then the Poppy for Royal Family, which I guess you are really happy to see.
I'm a big Poppy fan, of course. I would wonder if Axu plays it. I mean, Axu has a lot of weird picks, so Poppy isn't kind of too weird, so I don't expect him actually to play it, and rather to Valerian actually to play the Poppy. But I really like the drafting from Roy Fam. They kind of just deny the picks of Snooze every single time. So the Morgana against the Thresh, now the Poppy against Yasuo, kind of against Kragas as well. That's an Axo pick. I mean, it doesn't get more Axo than Yorick. I mean, he played Nasus, he played Garen and Darius, so there's Yorick. I really like that. There could be some spicy counter picks. I mean, Yasuo could still be for Rakuzi bot lane, and it's Kragas jungle, so maybe we see a top lane counter against Yorick. Some people think that, like, okay, now we already see the lane, but some people think that Mordekaiser, for example, is kind of a good counter because you can always ult Yorick and then his maiden isn't there, for example, or even his little circle will disappear if you ult him. So it's kind of crazy, but whatever. It was Ivan, Akali, and Azir in the end. So actually Azir picking the Azir into the Akali. Usually those assassins, especially like the Leon, is pretty strong against an Azir, so just picking it vice versa is a little bit risky from Roy Fam, but I kind of like it. And so yeah, and in the end there was like this Ivan pick, and I kind of see it with like the hyper carry Yasuo, but also like you have no true range hyper carry in this team comp, so maybe it's not working out. And especially like with this front line, you have Akali, you have Kragas, you have Thresh. They all kind of don't rely on those shields, on this shielding power. I mean, they like shields, of course, but it's not like it with the Jinx. If you swap the ADCs, the Ivan makes sense in my opinion, so it's kind of a little bit risky, at least from Kinetic. But let's see how he will handle it. And Ivan especially gives a lot of room for experimental jungle pathing, for like early invades, for like stealing the buff in the early game and stuff. So I think Ivan definitely is a cool pick to maybe get Valyrian out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely should bring at least some interesting spice into this game, as Ivan usually does. And I would say, without any further ado, let's go and see how it all pans out for both teams and head into game 1 of tonight. Snooze Esports versus Royal Family.
And there we are. Finally in game. Snooze against Royal Fam. Snooze on the blue side, Royal Fam on the red side with this. I mean, Axo on Rorik. I think that's maybe for me the most funniest pick of this gem select. And yeah, I think the Poppy pick also was really, really cool, especially now with Akali in mid lane. They have pretty much 3 dashes on 3 really important carries. I mean, even Kragas, without his dash, you can usually just deny his all-in, for example. You can deny his disengage. So I think this pick for Valyrian definitely was a good one. And especially this Yasuo ADC, I really have some criticism there from Snooze, because Yasuo as their only win condition, and then there's a Poppy in the enemy team. Like, they kind of drafted a little bit carelessly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be rough, I think, overall. Just because you have like so much distance alone in the bot lane of Royal Family as well, and the Thresh is already going to have a rough time finding this connection to get the engage here because of the Black Shield. As you mentioned, the Morgana probably having been picked to counter that mainly. So if Thresh doesn't find purchase, how does the Yasuo find purchase here? We'll have to see. Maybe you have something in mind.
Yeah. So and also like their engage is kind of not lackluster, but I mean they kind of rely on those hooks. But then there's a Black Shield, and other than that, they need those big wombo combos with Yasuo Kragas. But also there's a Black Shield, so at least one person isn't getting knocked up, and you need to at least hit 3 or 4 people with this knock up to have this big wombo combo. So yeah, it's definitely a hard game. They have, of course, one winning sideline with the Akali into the Asia. Probably there's a winning sideline with Axo on the sideline. So definitely some interesting stuff going on in the late game. And yeah, and I kind of maybe it's a little bit careless this draft, but I kind of enjoy it because Snooze just wants to have fun playing Rakuzi on this Yasuo. And I mean, we saw him on Twitch. And especially Twitch Ivan would have been really, really strong in my opinion, or even the Vayne Ivan, just for this hyper carry potential. But his Yasuo was clean. I mean, we can definitely say that. And with that, he knows to carry. And if he gets some lead, then there could definitely be potential for Snooze in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the end, they are going up against #1 in the ladder's currently unbeaten Royal Family. So maybe you need to kind of break the mold here, play something that is a bit more unusual, that is maybe a little bit more risky in order to get the win.
Yeah, that's right. And I really like just to get it out of the way, this top lane matchup, because especially Axo for me, maybe the strongest top laner we have in the league, but also JJS, just to mention it, at the moment, he's a challenger actually, with I think 900 LP or 700 or something, so 900 actually.
Things going down on the bot lane with the lantern that's not being taken by Rakuzi because they are blocking it. First blood does go to Dan. Unfortunately, the return kid goes to Atune and not his AD carry. Kinetic comes in, forcing Shunrum to flash away. That's 1-1 currently. However, Royal Family has it a bit better here.
Yeah, and that was really good play, really well played actually by Royal Fam in the end, even getting this first plot. And Rakuzi kinda gets the kill there on Dan, of course. Then the ignite from Yatun Oh, there was a bolo in the mid lane actually, but now we see first this replay, and like I said, some good traps. So Rakuzi is kinda trapped there, and in the end, almost getting the kill, but then it was just one auto attack to less, and with that, the ignite just killing there. So in the end, but also like this solo kill there actually, as an early game Asi against Nakali. If we can see that, that would make me happy. But what a player there in the mid lane, just solo killing a Rage.
Yeah, that's definitely huge to put Rukustufu in a bit of a more comfortable position on that mid lane. And that's actually really good for our family overall for this early game. Oof, the hook barely not hitting here. The cage on the other hand, very nice.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he hits the hook, I mean, Shunram could be the best support we have in the league, and he will, if the hook is even close to hitting, he'll probably just Black Shields it. So at least that's something I could imagine that a player like Shunram just knows when he needs to do it and when not, for example. So definitely a strong support there. And especially with Dan, I mean, Dan is such a phenomenal, strong ADC playing in the second. And I saw that the German gang actually sits at second place at the moment in the second division of the Benelux. So Dan, of course, carrying it there as well. So definitely a strong one.
Yes, not to be underestimated. We have top lane an attempt, I guess, to solo Bolo as Axel gets really low, but he's able to flash in time to get thrown on the other side. We had the grubs being done by Valerian. Yatun flashes in with the flail. Rakuzi will not use the lantern, but Kinetic does. We have the spell shield out on the deity carry Dan. Shunrim, however, in the middle of Snooze Esports, starting to get a lot of damage in his face. Valerian comes just in time to push him away, but they get the hook out on Dan, who's getting really low. Flash from Kinetic and kill for Rakuzi onto the enemy AD carry. Return kill coming in from Royal Family goes to the support, so we're even on that level now.
And that was so well played from both sides. I mean, just imagine that. First of all, Shunrim waiting for as long as he could with the spell shield. Then, after he used Yatun instantly just hooking Shunrim, for example. After that, Poppy just bailing them out. I know JJS might be in trouble.
JJS who decided to clear that wave, but now he's kind of caught between Axo and his own Iron Maiden. Deals so much damage, however, is able to get away, but has to be careful. The Azir just around the corner, mid laner for Royal Family. And he seems to be none the wiser. He comes in. Emperor's Divine maybe. Misses, but JJS is in a really bad spot here between Axo and Rukubzefu. Uses the explosive cast to get some damage out. And Rukubzefu in a good position. He's getting really low. He dies at the hands of Axo, while his mid laner barely survives.
What a roam again. Well played. No, by the other second great play by him. I mean, in the end, it was still close, especially JJ playing this almost to perfection. But sometimes you cannot win such a play. Oh, good.
Ooh, hook on the bot lane. Shunrim is not quite there. He went to what? Quite deep knock up onto Shunrim, but with the black shield, Dan is able to escape thanks to his ghost. So much action already in this game.
Yeah, and Yatun, I mean, he just hooked 3 times when we see it, and landed all 3. 2 on the spot lane play, and then here again onto Dan. So Yatun definitely is worth the first pick fresh. That's something you can say. And like it's a game at the moment where we see both teams are actually pretty close to each other, just gameplay wise. But and there again is this big thing that Royal Fam somehow just gets in lead. And at the moment, I mean, if you just look at CS, for example, or if you just look at kills, it's just 2 kills, but just 1k gold at the moment. And they just do it always. They just get a gold lead, then win some skirmishes, even though it's messy, but because they have the lead, they win those, and in the end they just snowball out of control. So that's something Royal Fam usually does, and at the moment it looks kind of good for them.
Absolutely. Here we have bot lane, tension going up, Daisy's being thrown out here, but just gets kind of a bunch of things in her face thrown from the Royal Family. Goes down a matter of second, hooks, lands on Dan. Phenomenal hooks coming in from Yatun. Has to be careful. Super Mega Death Rocket is not enough to kill him, but maybe follow-up damage with a good cage. Does not hit. Here comes the hook. Black Shield. We have Raich coming in, but he's now caught between Royal Family members and dies in a matter of second. Snooze forced to flash, to fall back in my opinion here, but Rakuzi goes in the midst of them. Dies at the hands of Rukups the Fu, and with that Royal Family furthers their lead and gets in a real comfortable position.
Yeah, and every time Snooze thinks they can outplay Royal Fam, they will just outplay them. I mean, it all starts by this really good counter gank by Poppy, and in the end, especially there was this hook on Morgana without a shield, and then Snooze kinda thought they can re-engage, especially with Raich following up. So that was just well played by Royal Fam. They just group up. Poppy is a big front line, then they run them down. And here's the important part. Because Yatun now actually gets this hook and they see Raich, they think, yeah, we can re-engage, but then just perfectly played by Valerian, smacking Raich into the wall. And then he, of course, he tried to dash, gets grounded, then he tried to get to the lantern and instantly getting knocked back. And now Dan at least probably dies.
Yes.
Outright.
They are able to still pick up the scraps here on the bot lane, which puts them slightly less behind. They have to be careful now because it's, as you said, they always think they're one step ahead, but Royal Family actually anticipates it and react really well to it. And I actually really like what's going on between those two teams because you have a constant dance going on between them. One team pulling in a phenomenal move, but the other one responds with an even better one. And it's always this kind of like come and go between them. And you're always on edge. Who's going to actually have the final word here? And for now, it's almost always been Royal Family. Drake for Snooze Esports, and we have a follow-up in a fight. Valerian in the middle of them with Shunrim. They escape the ultimate, but with the root on Rakuzi, he is under threat. He gets the lantern, but dies still at the hands of Shunrim. Now Yatun and Kinetic forced under the turret. 4 people ready to siege them. Valerian waits not a second and goes into them along with Shunrim. Will they be able to escape? No, Kinetic first to fall here, barely under the turret. Yatun, however, is able to make an escape.
And they just get them over and over again. This fresh lantern, usually such a good tool, just gets counterplayed. I mean, they usually just deny the lantern just by seeing the people, and then, and that's a really interesting thing they did, they just placed the ward, especially just onto the lantern, so that Rakuzi just couldn't click it, and that's actually a high-level play. Oh no, Raich, no bot lane.
The TP in, Rakuzi and Raich, lots of damage onto Dan. He dies in a matter of second, and that's good. They're not letting Royal Family get the kills for free. They're always taking something back, and they're able to shut down Dan so far really well. But what about Rukups the Fu on his Azir? 202 looking really good right now.
Yeah, he just, and now, especially with this teleport play by Raich, he is now even in the lead of the CS department, so definitely at the moment one of the better CSer in this game. And he knows he's a scaling champion, so he does everything correctly right now. And I mean, some teams actually could shut down Dan in the early game. We saw it with actually Red Lions with some really good ganks there by Tundra Rookie. And I think also Vase in this Draven bot lane from Dan, they actually killed him in some ganks.
Oh. Kinetic coming in the middle lane, and that should be the kill, no! Flash away from Rukups the Fu, but Daisy picks up Rupa Mega Death Rocket, gets the kill on Raich still. Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah, I mean, it's in the end a kill trade, but also a really important one for Dan. Just getting some more money there in the bot lane definitely helps them. So, you know, what I wanted to say is that this tactic to just shut down Dan kind of works in the early game. He kind of get caught a lot in the last couple of match days. But in the end, Rolfarm just has has just plenty of other carries, and then just gets bailouted by his team, and then gets the scaling, and in the end is still a strong AC. So no, there's a play in the mid lane.
Mid lane, a situation where Cruzy came from the bot lane. They're going all in onto Shonorim, who is getting really low. Dodges Tornado, but with the Ignite, a will die. Shutdown money goes to Rikuzi, and I think that's really interesting here, because Dan was clearly the easier target. He did not get the Black Shield, and Rikuzi was in his face, but they still went on to Shonorim, probably just to get the shutdown money here.
Yeah, and probably even because of the flash timer, they just knew that maybe Shonorim's flash is still on cooldown, both flashes on cooldown, but they kind of know about Shonorim's a little bit more in the mind. And then there are just 2 people already at him, so he cannot really walk out there. So he is kind of the easier target. But I mean, in the end, oh my god!
No. My Dan's
stole it.
Dan's rockets this game
Oh no.
have been really good up to now. At least the 2 previous ones on point.
Perfect by the Jinx. I mean, that's really crucial. I mean, they cannot get the eye, but in the end, there is still 3k gold ahead. I mean, yeah, Snooze somehow got some kills now, and it's even in kills. But just look at the total gold, 3k after 50 minutes, and that's kind of not only through farm needs. Normally we see that they just outfarm their opponents, but at the moment Snooze is actually farming really well. So it's kind of just like better gold, I guess. Maybe a shutdown, maybe some more assists. I don't know, but 3k are just... and of course the full turret, maybe with some more platings. But that's crazy. I mean, 3k after 50 minutes, and Snooze probably is thinking, yeah, we are kind of even right now. So, and that's sometimes really bad in some situations, because if you think you are even, you might take a fight. You don't need to fight.
Ooh, nice flash from Yachin, survives the Super Mega Death Rocket. Rikuzi in the middle of them gets a super nice last breath. Hugups gets hooked, but overall Snooze is just scattered all over. Reich goes in, picks up a kill, but dies himself. That's only 1 member down of Royal Family, and Snooze completely ravaged. Only 2 men up. Will not be able to contest that Drake, although Kinetic seems to be looking for an angle here.
Yeah, he probably wants to steal it. I mean, he can try to do it. It's still a smite fight, but they will probably find him, and after that, they cannot. He cannot steal. And that's exactly what I said. They thought that they are probably even. Then they did a teleport play. JJS even found a good ultimate into a good Rikuzi ultimate. So there was the Bobo combo, I think, on 3 people. But they just had no damage in the end. And then, especially look at Dan in a perfect situation. Nobody is hitting Dan. And he, with his range, can just go through them all. Just damage-wise. I mean, he doesn't get the kills, but if you cannot like kill a Jinx in a teamfight, especially with those resets, she will just shred through your team, and there was just no chance for Snooze to win it after they fall behind. And now with this, they even kind of lost the Drake win condition, because that's something they had. They got 2 Drakes in the early game, right? But after that, oh, the stun didn't connect.
Yeah, JJS getting caught here by Valerian, gets away maybe. Oh no, again! Another Super Mega Death Rocket from Dan. What a monster!
Yeah, they tried to shut him down, and in the end he has the shutdown, you know? I mean, he's just a pretty good Jinx, and we see it over and over again. Yes, maybe he doesn't win the lane, but he wins you the game. And now Royal Fam with their next turret on their shoulders. Oh no. Right.
Yeah, right in the middle of it. He is not going to be able to get a kill. Dies at the hands of Valerian here. And overall, Snooze just setback after setback. By now, Royal Family 6k gold ahead. Have taken down 4 turrets since last time I checked. That's 3 more. However, maybe they are able to find some damage here. TP coming in, however, from Axo, and now it's a 3v3. Dan flashes over the wall to get into it. Yatun gets the hook in, will go in. Last breath on 3 people. Beautiful wombo combo here, but is it enough? No! No, they just cannot kill Dan. Rakuzi is onto him, but unable to take down the Jinx player of Royal Family here.
And you know what a bad sign is? If the enemy ADC can flash over a wall to chase 3 people alone and still survives. That's always a really bad sign in this time for Snooze. Because if a Jinx can do that, then she's probably rather fat and you cannot do something. So really crazy play there by Vidan, and then he still survived after he got hooked, knocked back, and then Yasuo ulted. Is really incredible. That just the balls of this player to flash over the wall 1v3, getting hooked because he cannot sidestep. There's the flay, there's the knockup, and then just look at his health. And there are still those little side steps here and there. It's just insane double kill for him, and he just outplayed that so badly. And now they have 7k gold after 20 minutes, 3k after 15, 7 now after 20. So they got a lot of gold in the last 5 minutes. But Snooze decides to flip it at the Baron.
Yeah, they got the shutdown on Dan, which is huge, of course. They are in numerical advantage, and without the Jinx, a huge threat is taken away. JJS comes from behind with the TP, gets some nice damage out on Shunrim, separates him from his team, takes 2 people away, so now it's a 4v3 at the Baron if Royal Family were to engage. Now he died, however, will they be able to get it down fast enough, or will they be overrun very soon? Varun gets not over, objective bounty taken with that smite, but 2v4 in the pit, Yatun dies. Kinetic as well, so that's 4 deaths. You get Drake on the 1 player. If he gets away, was it worth it?
Probably not. It's a Baron you cannot do something with because now you get pushed in. It's probably a negative Baron power play in the end. But I mean, they denied it from Royal Fam, which is kind of worth because if Royal Fam would have gotten it here, they probably would just finish the game, right? Without, they might not be able to. But they will get at least 2 inhibs, I would assume. Maybe not. Maybe they don't creep for it. But they could try to.
Coops on the top lane will probably die here. The shutdown does go to JJS. His team not able to rotate fast enough. Very nice circle here from Axel, stopping Snooze. We're looking for an engage here, I think.
Yeah, they tried to. But in the end, Royal Fam just walks out of there. A little bit greedy there. From the Rs here to stay there alone, especially against JJS, who has the power to probably one-shot you. And then they saw the Arcadia, and after that it was really much over. Oh no, Shonen maybe needs to flash here.
Ooh.
Oh, just Black Shield. And he cannot be stopped because of the Black Shield.
Yeah.
That's such a smart play, actually.
Royal Family who decide to pull the Drake out, still at numerical disadvantage, but Koops is there, TP on the mid lane here, so it's going to be a 5v5 very soon. He comes in from behind, but is alone in the midst of 3 members of Snooze, is able to join back up with Axo. We have Rakuzi dying on the top side, right on the bot side. Overall, Snooze is just scattered, and that's no way for them to have a chance in a fight against Royal Family, who was so far ahead already, and things just degenerate from here. JJS gets caught on the bot lane, tries still to get the kill on Shunrin, but is ultimately gonna die at the hands of Dan. TP back from Kinetic in an attempt to maybe save the base together with Yatun. It's a 2v5 situation at the base, but it's no use. I think Royal Family is here to finish this game and take the first win of tonight versus Snooze Esports.
Oh, what even?
Unless they start playing against the Fountain Valyrian, who dies here trying to kill, I believe, Yatun. Now Rakuzi being back. This, of course, does change the tides. We have Raich on the 1v1 against Rakups, who picks up the kill. And things now looking good in this defensive attempt from Snooze Esports as they're getting some shutdown money and stopping the push.
It was... I want to say so bad, but I mean, it was greedy by Royal Fam to go for this finish, but especially, I thought they will finish it now, and I wanted to mention that Valyrian, who's had one of the best KDAs overall in the league so far, will finish this game without a single death, and then he found off, and somehow they kind of threw it away, so I kind of wanted to jinx him, and in the end I didn't, but still jinxed him in my thoughts, right? It's so sad for the Valyrian. This dash actually made him cry in the end. I mean, it's so sad. And no, they had no power to finish it. But it's well played, especially from Right. We will not see it actually in this replay, but he kind of gets this 1v1 done against the Asia, which is important, of course. And then there are also important skill shots to even get this shutdown. So, yeah, what can I say? It's just well played by Snooze, who kind of gets, I think it was 8k gold, and now it's just 7. So, Snooze, with the shutdowns, got back into the game, but like not by a big margin.
Yeah, you're looking for purchase on that, but Shunram in the middle of them is going to wreak havoc, and now Dan is able to join back up. Kinetic the other side of the pit, but maybe he joins up in time. Last breath, really. A lot of damage falling onto the Jinx player who is going to die here. Axo tries to go for the Nexus alone together with Valyrian, gets a lot of damage. JJ has forced to Zonias here. Right, and JJ has onto Valyrian. Will they be able to kill the Poppy player? They do not! And he finishes with 1 bar of health.
And still with just one death, so his KDA kinda isn't ruined. That could have been a really, really costly finish there, but Asi in the end just did it, and was a good play actually by Royal Flam to get them into a fight at the Baron pit just to get this backdoor done. So looked greedy, was greedy, but it worked out in the end. So well played by Royal Flam. But you can see they are kind of shaky. They are still undefeated, so they do not care. But in every single game, I think, especially like in the last game against Dways or this first game against Hitmonlee and stuff, there was always a bloodbath, and sometimes they even lost those team fights. And I think that, especially this game, if they get too overconfident, especially with this finish call and the second finish call, if they don't finish it there, they might through it. So I think Wolfham sometimes just a little bit too overconfident, and if one team can maybe stop them in their tracks there, then they are maybe beatable. But still, GG to them, 8-0 now, and they look really, really strong.
Yeah, they are looking really strong, as you mentioned, but I think it's interesting to mention those bloodbaths, because in the end, a royal family, what they haven't trained over the course of the split is well losing. They haven't lost a single game. You can get overconfident from that indeed. And most importantly, in going into the finals, we will be playing best of series. It's not going to be only one match, or rather 2 matches. We had a double round robin right now. But it's going to be a few matches. Teams can adapt from one match to another. And if suddenly you have a situation where, oh wait, this game actually got kind of closer than the usual ones, and you're unable to cope with that because you haven't lost yet, this can prove really fatal in such a decision. So maybe if I can give them one tip is to play scrims where they lose for sure before the finals, just to be sure that that's out of the system, and then they should be fine, because they are looking super strong right now. Next up, we have a Red Alliance going up against Hitmonlee, and before we get to that